Trugoy's Tim Hinoon's Vinyl, your hostess with the mostest. Mostest belly, that is. I'm just kidding. Hey everybody, how's everybody doing? It's been a minute, I know. But today we're going to do just a standard vinyl update. I've started filming in my chair, but that's being occupied. See if we can...
Got a dog.
Yep, got a Molly. She's taking over the chair today. So she's being a little bit of a... everybody loves Dad's chair. So hey, I want to get right into it. A lot of things to talk about, and of course, you all know this guy. So spinning in the background, just unpacked this out of the box. Herbie Hancock's Empyrean Isles, Freddie Hubbard, Ron Carter, Anthony Williams. So glad this got the Blue Note Classic Vinyl Series treatment. Sounds fantastic. I'm already on my second spin, and like I said, I think I unpacked it like an hour ago. So a lot of heat in this one, a lot of stuff that just has been sitting there, but some new goodies as well. A couple from the Rocktober. You probably just saw me flip it. The Stooges. I mean, what's to talk about? We know these guys. We know the importance of these albums. So these got the Rocktober reissue treatment. This one on like a brown swirl. This one on Funhouse on a black and red split. Got them at a great price. Had to pick them up because I didn't have them. So, you know, got some Stooges in the mix, as well as much needed reissue of Alice in Chains Dirt. I'm hoping that the Alice in Chains reissue love continues because I need the EPs, Jar of Flies, Sap. I need Alice in Chains, Three-Legged Dog. So I need a bunch of goodies from them. So if you haven't picked this up, I will say, please be careful where you get it from. There are some pressings that are floating around from United, but mine is not, thank goodness. So, and then I got a couple of gifts from a dear friend of mine here in the VC. So this one is the Devil's Witches, and this one is the maiden edition of all in all her form. Excuse me. The font is horrible for me to read with my blind eyes. So they featured this one in a video. It was actually really one I was going to check out, and lo and behold, they sent it to me. So the maiden edition is pressed on this beautiful red and black swirl. So think Doom Stoner, a little bit of Tool influence, but there's some, there's some softer melodies with this one. So this was what I gave you at the top, a little bit of taste of this. This is just a fantastic album, pressed on 45 RPM, so the richness of this music comes through. But they also sent this one along, Sonic Flower, Me and My Bell Bottom Blues. So this is a Japanese band in much of the vein of like the Japanese psych of, you know, the 70s, and this is just killer, just straightforward face melter stuff. So I'm going to give you another taste of the Devil's Witches, but also give you a couple cuts off of the Sonic Flower album. Both highly worth your time if they strike your fancy. Really worth checking out. So here's a little bit more of these two guys to potentially whet your appetite. Some great releases from 2022. Pushing Ever Forward, an album that I picked up when it came out. The Tone Poet reissue of Blue Train from John Coltrane. I went ahead and sprung for the 2 LP stereo edition. I wanted the alternate tracks. It just sounds absolutely fantastic. I think I do want to pick up the mono version of this as well. I mean, such an important album from John Coltrane, and the music is just absolutely stunning. Reproduced extremely well. Again, this is another one of those, Tone Poet. Why are we even talking about it? It's worth picking up. So this was a Walmart pickup because, I think I got this one. I know this is cheaper than picking this up just on a regular issue. Billy Joel Stormfront, again, seems to be a Red Smoke kind of vinyl episode. Sounds great, and I saw Billy Joel on this tour, so this album really kind of means a lot to me as far as for this genre. Obviously it has We Didn't Start the Fire, which if he were to record that now, I would probably be an 11-hour opus, and that would just be in this decade. So great stuff. I mean, I'm an unapologetic fan of Billy Joel, and wanted to have that album on wax, so went ahead and picked it up from Walmart. This one was a pickup on a great price from my friend Kathy at Music and More. So Kathy, if you happen to be watching, thank you. And that's this. This is the first issue from the reissue of the first album from Lenny Kravitz, Let Love Rule. Huge Lenny fan. This is what happens when you put Prince and the Beatles in a blender, sprinkle in a little Hendrix. You get stuff like this, just absolutely fantastic. Outside of the horns and some of the keyboards, this is all Lenny playing all the instruments. Lot of great songs on here. Obviously had a foot in that Paisley movement of the late 80s, early 90s, of reintroducing some of that psychedelia and back into pop music, but also a lot of that 70s soul in his voice and playing as well. Political views with that as well. So you just kind of really just ties into some stuff that I love. Next up, this is Ian Simmons. This is his 2000 album, Return to X. So Ian Simmons is a DJ producer. He was with, I think it was the Sandals. Is that the name of that group? For a quick minute. Known for down-tempo trip hop, almost acid jazz kind of flair. And just continues with that here. I was actually watching a DJ video, and somebody was spinning Swingin' Millie, and that's what caught my ear and made me to kind of seek him out and check out some of his stuff. Found this album at a super silly price, I want to say it was under like $7 on wax. So I had to pick it up. Really enjoyed it. More background. It's not something that I think that requires a very astute studying ear to absorb. But I'm gonna give you a couple bits off of this. If you like what you're hearing from this one, check out some of his other stuff. You got to pick and choose. Some of his stuff may not be as strong, and he's done some beat poet type stuff as well. So that's not really my thing, but there's enough out there to kind of whet your appetite. So from 2000, Ian Simmons, Return to X. Check this one out. blame Emma for this one. She showed this one, sent me a picture that she had picked these up. Emma from 8 Vinyl Low, excuse me. Like, we need to talk about who Emma is. Everybody knows who Emma is. Mandalorian Season 1. Need to pick up. They had Season 2 there. This is the Target exclusive. It's on bone white vinyl. They had Season 2 there, but the shrink wrap was all beat up, and the cover took a couple dings, and I'm like, you gonna take some money off of it? No, then I'm not buying it. So I need to get Season 2. Watching Season 3 as the episodes come out now, highly enjoying it. It's Star Wars. Of course I'm going to love it. So, and then the last one that I picked up.
I should have Star Wars right now.
Yeah, Star Wars everything. So the last one I picked up was this. So let's talk about this. This is De-La-Soul's debut album, 3 Feet High and Rising. Back again on vinyl. Now, I know before I had shown the Vinyl Me Please edition, and I still have the Vinyl Me Please edition. And then that one, obviously, even in a different look, I went with the magenta pressing. Again, this was a score from Kathy at Music and More. So, this album is so important to me. It's not just because of the sampling, but it was an album that was in the hip hop genre that dared to be different. They embraced their individuality. They embraced a different sense of style, fashion, music, the way they sampled, not just what they sampled. De La Soul was not afraid to show their personality for what it was. They didn't feel like they had to be hard or had to be street or had to be the guys standing on the corner. They are who they were at that time on this album. And then this is just a groundbreaking album in and of itself. 60 plus samples to create this record. Obviously, groundbreaking from the number of singles, from Magic Number to Say No Go to Me, Myself, and I, Potholes in My Lawn. Again, this goes back to the wide variety of things they sampled. So, and this has been a long time coming. I mean, it well documented that they had issues legally with getting samples cleared. They say that they pushed everything to Tommy Boy. Tommy Boy said they didn't have certain things on the list. Turtle sued him for a lot of money, and then we get into all these legal battles of who gets what, who has what. The rights changed hands. It just became a mess, and it was years and years and years of fighting. And it was about a year and a half ago. This was actually reacquired by Reservoir. Excuse me, I wanted to look that up. So, Reservoir Media acquired the rights to Tommy Boy, and the first thing they wanted to do was work with De La Soul. Gave them masters, and started this long process of re-clearing the samples. Now the question is why you got to re-clear the samples, but back in 89 or 88 when some of these things were being cleared, there was no idea of streaming, and what made it even more challenging was the clearing of samples again. So I talked about it in my singles video. And I don't have it handy, which is fine. Walk on the Wild Side. So Walk on the Wild Side by Lou Reed was famously sampled by the Tribe Called Quest for the song Can I Kick It? And they loved what they did with the song, and the clearance was the agreement of 100% of the proceeds of that song, meaning that every time it would receive a royalty for even a single sale or a portion of the album or radio play, it all went to Lou Reed. So that is the deal that was struck. Flip that to if you are an artist and you say anything from that song that would be considered an element or a sample. Like if you were to say, "Can I kick it?" and then someone else says, "Yes, you can," you've technically sampled "Can I Kick It?" which means the royalties of that song, because you use the sample "Can I Kick It?" go to Lou Reed. Sampling laws, they're a challenge. So there was a lot of samples to clear, and they actually worked with entertainment lawyers to get everything pushed through. And if you compare, which I did, if you compare these two, this is the original how it sounded when it came out. You compare it to the Reservoir Media, published by their in-house label for De La Soul AOI, and it's licensed through Chrysalis Records. There's a couple of differences. So, for example, on the outro of The Magic Number, while DJ Maceo is cutting up, one of the things he cuts up on this one is from an Eddie Murphy comedy album. Has anybody in the audience ever been hit by a car? That is missing from this. There was a couple things that they recreated you probably wouldn't even catch. And then there was one that had a big difference, but it was Cool Breeze on the Rocks. And this one's called the melted version. And so they even called it out. And what makes this even bittersweet is the passing of Dave, Trugoy the Dove, just mere weeks before this became streaming and became available to the masses. So, important album to me, important band to me, and I'm going after a full run of all these reissues. If you're a Uber collector like I am, there's a magenta, which I have. There's a yellow. There's a blue, which is an Amazon exclusive, and orange, which is a Walmart exclusive. I'm cringing what I'm going to do. So, but what I did was I did kind of compare these two, and I'm not going to play samples because if you want to hear the album, I want you to please go to Spotify, stream it. You can buy digital versions for $10. Support these guys. This has been a long endeavor. I don't even care about a strike or anything like that. I just really want people to go, if you want to listen, go listen to it. Support these guys. They've not been able to earn off these albums, and these are important hip-hop albums. So I listened to these. I listened to several key singles back to back in my headphones. I listened to Me, Myself, and I, Say No Go, Potholes in My Lawn, and The Magic Number. So 4 different tracks, 4 different sides, back to back. Listen to each song in its entirety. I listened to the Vinyl Me Please pressing, and then I listened to the new 2023 pressing that was distributed by Chrysalis. They're really close. The De La Soul pressing from Vinyl Me Please feels like it is digitally sourced 100%, which could very well be, considering that the samples are exactly true to the original release as it was, which is a great historical architect or piece, but artifact, that's what I'm looking for. But this one, because there had to be some clearances and changes, I'm not saying it's not digitally sourced, but there's a little bit more bite, just a touch more bite, and it doesn't feel flat. It doesn't feel quite as flat, but that's in my earphone. Obviously, hip hop, very bass centric, very groove centric. Over speakers, you may not know it unless you've got this insane high end audio, and you're playing it at a pretty decent clip. So does anybody who have this need this? Probably not, unless you're like me and you want to support the band. If you get this, do you feel like you're missing out on a quality product? No, you are not. Pressed with care, These are 180 gram, whereas the Vinyl Me Please pressing is not. I found that this pressing from Chrysalis Records and Reservoir Media, and it was a little bit quieter because I did put some volume into it, and I listened to it in my headphones. And both of these were purchased brand new. I am the only owner of both of these. So if you were to get this, even though there's going to be a couple of sample differences, all in all, you're getting a quality product for under 40 bucks that you are going to love and enjoy and remember all the beautiful music that these guys gave us. You can pre-order out there all of them. DA.I.S.Y is dead. Balloon Mind State. Balloon Mind State will be the only single LP release. I was kind of hoping for a double, but it is the shortest of the 6. So all of them are pre-orderable. DA.I.S.Y is dead. Balloon Mind State. Stakes is High. Artificial Intelligence, Mosaic Thump, and AOI Bionics. And You Best Believe. Got them all covered. So with that, I'm going to go take another trip down memory lane. Dave, Trugoy, thank you. Thank you for the visions that you had, the lyrics you gave. And to De La Soul, thank you. Thank you for everything you've given hip-hop in the world to show us that we could be different, we could be unique, and still have a voice in this genre.